Rangers linked to Lewis Palma. But let's dive into this article because this is a wee bit bigger than that. Because Michael Beale has been in the Italian capital today, and apparently Andrea Belotti is out of contract in the summer. He was once rated at 88 million a few years ago, and I believe Arsenal were linked to a host of Premier League clubs. But I mean, this probably ain't going to happen. I'm actually even surprised that it's in the atmosphere. But we'll read into the article here and see what's happening. But he was in Italy, Michael Beale. Just because he was in Italy, he was in Rome, does not mean he's signing Andrea Belotti. But we'll read the article. Rangers should make move for Roma striker Andrea Belotti as Michael Beale uploads pictures in Italian capital. Rangers are looking for new signs in the summer, and with Alfredo Morelos set to leave the club if things stand, they will need a striker to bring in. Michael Beale recently posted pictures of him being in Rome, and that saw Football Scotland speculate on the players whose contract will be expiring at the end of the season. One name was that of Andrea Belotti, a striker who was coveted by some of Europe's top teams a few years ago, but a transfer never really materialised. During his Torino days, then President Urbano Cairo was against selling him and told all interested parties to meet his buyout clause, which was bang, 100 million euros, 88 million pounds. He said about Belotti, I care about Belotti and I'm keeping hold of him. He's a contract with Torino until 2021. I would only sell him for 100 million euros, but even then he can refuse. With his deal at Roma run out at the end of the season, he will be a free agent. It makes sense to make a punt on him. He may be 29, but I mean, 29 is the prime for a striker, you know? And like for a guy that was rated so highly, I think he'd absolutely thrive in the Scottish League and he'd be good in Europe, right? So I would go for him. I don't know how much he's on a week like, but you mean the fact you're getting him for a free saves all that stuff, like, you know, transfer fee, so you can actually afford to put a bit more into the wages, but, you know, it's Rangers. I mean, to sign a guy of this calibre, a guy who had that release clause, you know, only a few years ago, playing for Roma, Jose Mourinho's Roma, I think that would be a good sign of intent and a good player to sign. Will they do it? Probably not. We're probably going to get fucking Umar Sadiq or something back, and we're going to pretend that he's great. But it says here, he may be 29, so they're not going to get too many years out of him. But, I mean, 29? Cholak's like 29. Like, and we signed him. I think, well, he might be 28, right? But what's the problem with signing someone who's 29 and they can give you a good 3 or 4 years? That's better than signing a 20-year-old who's pish, but they can get a striker who's clinical and will win them games. Signing him on a free might not be the worst idea in the world. Even if he ends up being a flop, there won't be too many regrets as we know financial outlay, so it's a move worth considering. Exactly right. Say we sign him on a free, give him decent enough wages, and then he's shite. I mean, at least you could actually sell him for a bit. You know, it's not the end of the world. Even if he ends up being a flop, blah, blah, blah. Any striker who scores regularly is going to cost the club money, and if they can save money for other areas by signing Belotti for free, then they must go with it. Andrea Belotti. Get the job done. Sign him up. We love it. We love it. We do. And into the final bit of news today, it is about Luis Palma. And Michael Beale could sign exciting secret weapon in Luis Palma as Rangers transfer news emerge. It will reportedly cost Rangers 4.4 million if they're to sign the attacker, and Michael Beale may have located an exciting secret weapon for next season. The 24-year-old is attracting widespread attention at Greek playoff team Aris Thessaloniki, with journalist Georgios Solidaris revealing on site able the light blue sent scout to watch him. Well, you know what? We can get this guy in Belotti. That's a really good two attacking players. But Rangers need more. We need a lot. Beale, I have faith in Beale. When Beale says that he wants to get all this done before the Euro qualifiers and have a team sorted, I really hope that is the case. I really hope that is. Like, I'd love Beale to have a team sorted by then. And then if you get into the Champions League, he goes out and spends like more money on like 2 or 3 more players. That would be like the ideal situation. But you know, I don't have the biggest amount of faith that the team or the board can get that done. You know, like look at last year, we thought, fuck, get in the Champions League, we'll sign some players, sign no one. Gio coming in and said, it's team's good enough, no, that's shite. Definitely not. Definitely not. Like, I mean, what difference would it have made if we signed Cantwell and Raskin in the summer? I think it would have made a difference, obviously, but again, like, it was more the centre-back situation that was shite. I think it would have helped us big time, Cantwell and Raskin, especially in most of those European games. But, you know, most of those European games, it was at the back that was killing us. But, I mean, again, at Ibrox against Liverpool, the midfield was getting fucking rinsed. I mean, there wasn't a part on the pitch that wasn't getting rinsed, man. Honestly, I don't even want to think about that game. I really don't. But anyway, guys, that is it. Could Andrea Belotti be on his Belotti, spaghetti? Could he be joining? Aye.